All righty. Time to talk a little football. We'll talk a little Inter right now with Michelle Kaufman. We do it every Wednesday normally at 2 o'clock, but like I said, we've had some interruptions by Christmas and New Year's here the last 2 Wednesdays. So she has been kind enough to accommodate us the following day, and so she is here today. You can follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports, and you can catch her exceptional work at the Miami Herald website and at your doorstep. Michelle, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I am doing great. We are out here at Toyota of Hollywood having a good time. So, tell me, we finally have a coach, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes, there's finally, I thought, it did happen before the new year. We just haven't had a chance to talk before the end of the year. But, yes, they hired a coach named Diego Alonzo. He's a former Uruguayan national team player. He's been coaching. He's 44. He's been coaching in Mexico for 5 years, 4 years with Pachuca, and last year with Monterrey. Well, this season, actually, half the season with Monterrey from 18 to 19. And, he's not, some of the fans, maybe just based on my Twitter reactions, I was hoping for something better. I was hoping for a bigger name, whatever, The truth is none of us really know until they get started. But Paul McDonough, I spoke to him at length about the decision, and he said that, he believes after all the homework that they did, which they did a lot, they took a long time. And, honestly, they wouldn't say this. I don't think this was their first choice. But I think they went after a couple of people that maybe just ended up using them to try to negotiate deals elsewhere or from their own clubs. He made mention of the fact that what the fans, and this is true in every sport, fans, and it's nothing against fans. He said he loves that the fans are passionate, and he loves that the fans of Miami know a lot about soccer and have opinions on everything. And he said he thinks that's good, and that's going to be great for the club that there's so much passion. But most fans, not most, all fans really have no idea what's going on behind the scenes in negotiations, what's going on behind closed doors. And he made it pretty clear that some of the stuff that was floating around out there, which happens in every sport again, is fabrications by agents, by clubs, trying to get more interest and more money for their clients. And they float around rumors that, this guy's considering coaching here with David Beckham, and they're talking about paying him X amount of dollars. And then some other team in Europe is like, oh, wow, this guy must really be a hot coach if, David Beckham's looking at him to pay him this. So now we're going to offer him something, And so I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And they probably got used, which happens. But he is there because every time I asked him like 3 times, well, how many serious candidates were there? Because in the past they had said to me that there were 2 or 3 people that they had very serious conversations with. When I asked him again now, all he would say to me is, I'm very, very happy to have Diego Alonzo as our coach.
Of course.
I'm very, very happy to have Diego Alonzo as our coach. So he said, let's focus on what he is and not, what the fans out there think they should get. So the reasons that they picked him are he has had very good success. He took both Pachuca and Monterrey to the CONCACAF Champions League title. So, he took 2 different teams to the highest tournament title that you can have in this region. Number 2, they liked that he is very familiar with this region and has played against MLS teams and beaten the top MLS teams in the CONCACAF Champions League. So Paul specifically mentioned that he watched very closely when his teams beat Atlanta United, which is a team that, of course, Paul is very aware of because he put that team together. So this guy beat 3 very, very good MLS teams in order to win those trophies. So he said, although he has not coached in MLS, he has coached against MLS teams. He said he also understands, and I thought this was telling too, he said he understands what MLS is and what it's not, and he understands what kind of players we're going to have to work with. And, that's really, really important. because some coach that comes from Europe or Latin America who, doesn't understand that there are salary cap issues and DPs and this and that. And, he said that the way the league is run is something that's very unique to MLS. And this guy has a very good understanding of what MLS is. And, working in Mexico right next door to MLS, he has a very good understanding of the league. He also said that he likes that he's an attacking style. His teams have always scored a lot of goals. The Pachuca team that he coached set records, for goal scoring. And so he said this is a team that's going to score a lot of goals, which is what he knows that the fans here want, an attacking team with a lot of goal scoring. And the other thing is that he said he develops young talent, that he's had some young players in Mexico that have gone on to become some of the top players in their league and also even bought by European teams. So anyway, he said that he basically checked all the boxes, that he's a very, very good guy, very hungry, really wants to be here, wants to coach here, is excited about the challenge. And so that is who their coach is.
Michelle Kaufman, of course, from the Miami Herald, joining us in our Inter-Miami report. We do it every week. Normally, by the way, it's on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock, just so you'll know. So you can always catch it at 2 o'clock on Wednesdays. And, of course, you can always podcast it. It is a very popular podcasted segment. When I don't watch Mexican, soccer, to be honest with you. So I don't know much about this guy at all. Now, you heard what they told you. What have you been able to unearth on your own about what kind of coach this is?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he has been successful. The fact that they fired him at Monterrey in September was actually a big surprise because he took Monterrey in May. In May, he beat Tigres. Tigres is like their biggest rival, okay? Mm-hmm. And they beat that team to win the CONCACAF Champions League in May. So that same exact coach with that same exact team at Monterrey beat Tigres, their big rival, to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And everybody was very excited, celebrating with him. This guy's great. He's wonderful. Everything's great. Then in September, they had a bit of a slump in the league, as far as league play. They lost, a few games in a row. They were struggling a little bit. And then they lost to Tigres at home, 2-0. And everybody went crazy. Mexican soccer, Mexican fans, if you see the turnover of coaches there is really outrageous. Not only national team coaches, but club coaches. The fans there they're very impatient. They want to win. They want to win now. And if you lose a certain number of games in a row, people are calling for your head. So what happened with this guy, from what I can tell and what I've read, is that the team was great. And in May, everybody loved him. And then in September, when he lost to Tigres, which is a team that they beat in May, but they lost to them at home 2-0. And the media started calling for his head and fans started calling for his head. So guess what the team did? They got rid of him and they brought back his predecessor. So they brought back the coach that they fired and hired this guy to replace with. And then they end up going back to that other coach. In the process, now that coach came in. The team had a lot of success the rest of the season, made it to the club World Cup and played Liverpool in a very, very tight game, so they've gone on to be a really, really good team, and, won the Mexican Cup and whatever. And the players did, Paul McDonough wanted to make a point when I spoke to him that the players and even the current coach that replaced him all gave him credit when they won the Mexican Cup and all these things that they've been winning at the end of the season, saying that he deserved some credit, that he set the tone, that he's the one who established his team. So, the fact that the players were giving him praise and that the current coach was giving him praise, Paul McDonough said that to him that spoke volumes because the club had let him go and gave up on him, and then that very same team went on to do a bunch of good things, which they may have done anyway if he had stayed. But so what I can tell so far, I've never met him. I'm going to meet him after they're working out his visa, which is why he still isn't here. He's supposed to be here in the next few weeks. And, I'll have a better idea once I can actually meet him and talk to him. But from what I've seen, he seems to be a good candidate. He may not be the sexy big name that some people were hoping for, but, I think they maybe were priced out of some of those people, and maybe some of those people were really aiming for other jobs and using this as leverage. So, they are very happy, as he kept saying. We're very happy with Diego Alonzo. They didn't want to talk about who they may have spoken to and didn't get. They really want to focus on who they did get. Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes all the sense in the world. They're not going to talk about who they were even interested in, because obviously that would create even more controversy with all of this. So now, how is he as a communicator? Because obviously the language barrier, all of that. Is he a fluent guy in English and all that?
No, he's not. He's not fluent in English. He understands English. His speech in English is limited. Paul said that, he's definitely, that's like one of his main goals is to work on that, because he knows he has to do that. But so far, a lot of the players speak Spanish. A lot of the fans down here speak Spanish, but obviously not everybody. There are a lot of English speakers and English-speaking players too. So, he's going to work on that. They did talk about the fact that he's bringing a good number of staff with him, and then they're going to complement that with people that they're selecting, and particularly, he didn't say who, but Paul said somebody will be very close working with him who has MLS experience, speaks English, he said, very familiar with the American soccer landscape, and somebody who has MLS coaching experience. So I don't know who that is. That'll probably come out soon in the next few days, who's going to be on the staff. But one of them for sure is going to be someone the club is appointing who has MLS experience and speaks perfect English and is very familiar with the league. And then he's also going to bring some of his staff, that he knows from Mexico and Uruguay and other places that he's been. So, he's an interesting guy. He's played at a high level. He played in Spain. In La Liga, so he was a high-level player who has played in the Spanish league. He was on the Uruguayan national team, and he's been coaching, some of the top teams in Mexico for the last 5 years. So he has a very good resume. It's not like he's just some Joe Schmo that they got on the side of the road. The guy has an excellent resume. He's played in Spain, played for a national team, a big-time national team in South America, has played, in Copa Libertadores type matches, and then has coached in Mexico. So I think he has a very good pedigree for an MLS coach. Obviously, I haven't met him yet, but he seems to check all the boxes, as Paul said. And, now is going to be signed. He did say also that he has been in the loop as far as these recent signings that they've made, which I have a couple that they just signed this past week. He's been in the loop on those, and he's in the loop on the remaining players that are going to be signed, which is happening now that the European transfer window is open. It opened on New Year's, which was yesterday. So now they are free to negotiate with players in Europe. And what Paul said is, just to give us a clue of what they're looking for, he said, they have 21 players that are signed so far, 21 players. So there are 9 spots left on the roster. They have 2 college picks. They have 2 designated players who are the bigger name, higher priced players that we're still waiting for. And then there will be 5 other, probably all international players that they're going to bring in who are not DP level salaries, but are coming from Europe or other places in the world, Mexico. That he may maybe bring in some guys from Mexico that he knows about from coaching there for 5 years. What Paul said is we obviously need more punch on the offense.
Wait, Michelle, before we get to the players, let me finish first with the coach here. Because I think this is a detriment to them. I think you need a guy that can actually communicate in English, because I'm not saying so much for the players. I'm saying for the public. I'm saying for
the media,
face of the franchise, all of that. And it's nice if they get some guy on the side that can talk to the media. That doesn't mean anything. I hope they understand that David Beckham needs to become available like a lot early on, because if you're not winning a ton, they're going to want to hear from the coach. And if they can't even hear from your Anglo audience, can't hear from the coach, that's not a good thing. And so to me, I find that to be a little bit of a detriment. Although, again, if you win a bunch, they won't care. But if you're not, I think David Beckham's going to have to be doing a lot of PR early on because he's a lovable face. He's the face of the franchise, and he speaks the language. So that would be really, really important because, look, the thing is, you and I, the beauty of this is you and I have perspective on this. We've lived this. So we saw before Ray Hudson and we saw after Ray Hudson with the Fusion and how the place got lit up and how everybody started getting on board and how people gravitated more to the Fusion because of the personality. Now, I don't expect anybody in that organization.
No one is going to be Ray Hudson.
Nobody will ever come close to Ray. But you do have to take a page out of Ray, and you do have to have some kind of marketability, and you got to be able to reach people, and you got to be able to communicate. And if your coach cannot communicate, that's a huge negative to start off for an expansion team. That's just me.
Right. No, I mean, it's true. When we were with the Fusion, I know you remember, Evo Workman was one of the coaches, Cacho Cordoba. They didn't speak English, and you couldn't understand them. I mean, I could understand them in Spanish, and Evo was like mainly Portuguese, and then he would speak a very broken Spanish and basically no English or little English. So it was difficult for the mainstream TV crews, for example, that started pouring out when Ray took over. Channel 6, 7, and 10, they were there in Channel 4. They would show up. They didn't even really maybe care that much about soccer at that stage, but they showed up because you never know what Ray was going to say after a game, and it was colorful. It was fun. He gave great sound bites, and TV people like sound bites. So if your coach, when it was Evo Workman and Cacho, there were no sound bites. So unless the team, like you said, if the team is winning and great, then people are going to be on board no matter what, and the media is going to have to show up.
Evo and those guys weren't on the Hank Goldberg show. Ray Hudson was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just it's a whole different ball game, and I get it. Look, as a franchise, you got to hire the best technician that there is out there. So if you feel that's the best guy that you had available, then that's fine. But if you had a guy that was equal and had, communication skills, I would have chosen that guy instead. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this early on, and you being in the media, how do you think they should handle this? Because if their coach can't really communicate with the Anglo audience, how should they go about this? Is it a David Beckham thing, like I was saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think David Beckham will be a big key. But I do think, honestly, that if they win, I don't think the fans will care that much if they win. I think the fans here want a winning team. Yes. And, if the team goes out there and starts to win and beat teams and there's a great atmosphere at the games, I don't think it'll be a huge issue because there are players who have personality on this team and they will speak for the team. They'll give good interviews after the games. Paul McDonough obviously speaks English. David Beckham speaks English. Jorge Mas is very enthusiastic and speaks English. So, I agree that an English-speaking coach would be ideal. But I'm not going to pass judgment on it yet until I see what he can do on the field. Yeah, no, that's why I prefaced it, that if he wins, then it'll be great. We don't need to hear from you. But if there's some struggles early on and you got to explain things and, Lucy, I can't explain it, then that's, that's going to be the issue there. That's going to be a problem because you really want some communications. All right, so if they had some issues with the coach and because maybe they were kind of used, what's going on with the two international big names now? Is any of that also going on now? Is that being an issue where maybe they're going to be settling for a second, third, or fourth option that they had on the international level? Right. Well, I haven't heard anything. David Silva, to me, that one still seems to be standing on its legs. From Man City. He's a great player, Spanish national team, one of the top players in England. So I have not seen anything but his name connected with this team. I haven't seen any, but he may go here, but he may go there, which is what happened with Edinson Cavani. I think at the beginning it was, he's going to come here, he's going to come here. And now it's, he may go to Atletico Madrid and these people are offering, then this people are offering, a lot of other teams in Europe now are very interested in him. So, I don't know that it seems to me that he might stay in Europe. David Silva, I think, is a guy who could still absolutely end up here. That would be a huge signing. I mean, any player from Man City that ends up on your team here, a guy from the Spanish national team, that would be a huge name. And then the other one, the second name, I don't know. Honestly, there's talk about, Roger Martinez, who's a Colombian player who plays, but he plays in Mexico. It's not from Europe. It seems to me that the two players came from Europe, but it may be that one comes from Europe and one comes from South America or Mexico. So we will see. We'll see how that develops. Paul definitely said that this is once the transfer window opened, which is yesterday, that they will be able to finalize these deals. They've already got guys in mind. They've been talking to them. They've been negotiating with them. And, he said they definitely are going to bring in offensive punch. Be looking for somebody who can score. He said, we have people, but they've signed 21 players already. But he said the areas that still need to be filled out are offensive punch, one more really good midfielder, and one more really good central defender. Okay. So that's where they're looking, and that should all be happening. And as we speak, there's negotiations going on because they start training camp. I believe it's January 18th or 19th. So we are literally. But
we still don't know where camp is starting, right? We still don't know where camp is starting.
No, they haven't said that either. 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away. They have not announced where the camp is, and we have 21 of the players. 2 more will come from the draft. We'll make it 23. But then the remaining 7 are still being negotiated 3 weeks before the start of the season. Before the start of the training. Not the start of the season, before the starting of the training. So that's where we are. But they do have a coach, so that's, a step up. By the way, the 2 players I wanted to mention that they signed over the weekend, which we didn't talk about last week, is they signed Roman Torres, who's the Panamanian captain, the captain of the Panamanian national team that led them to their first World Cup, played every minute of the World Cup for Panama, and has won 2 MLS titles with the Seattle Sounders. He is a very, very good pickup for them. He is 33 years old. He's a very veteran guy, leader, super, big-time energy guy, big-time locker room leader, has been the captain for 5 years of the Panamanian national team, scored the game-winning goal to get them into the World Cup. He's played in 7 Gold Cups. And so he's a really big-time player for MLS that they picked up as a free agent. So he's one they picked up. He's a center back. And then the other one is Juan Agudelo, who has played 27 matches for or I don't remember exactly how many, but more than that, matches for the U.S. national team. Mm-hmm. He's was on New England, not the New England Patriots, the New England Revolution. Colombian-American guy, a forward, well-known to U.S. national team fans as a guy who's been in and out of the U.S. national camp, and they picked him up as well. So they signed 2 veteran national team level guys in Torres and Agudelo to bring them up to 21 players over the weekend. And like I said, they'll get 2 from the college draft, which is January 9th, and then they'll get 2 designated players who are presumably their top-notch, highest-paid 2 players will come in. That'll be 4. And then 5 more, mostly international players that will come from Europe and South America.
Funny.
So a lot is going to happen in the next few weeks.
Funny text comes in. One guy says, any chance bringing Nick Rimando back to where he started his career?
Yeah, I think he's retired and he's done. But he was good. He was good and went on to have an amazing season.
I know.
An amazing career. He went on to have an incredible career.
Yeah. And remember, back in those days, maybe he's too short for that position and all that stuff.
Because back then they had Jeff Cassar, Garth Lagerway, who, by the way, have both gone on to be big-time executives in the league. That team of the Fusion produced a lot of league executives. Jay Heaps went on to coach New England Revolution, and Pablo Mastroeni went on to coach the Colorado Rapids. Garth Lagerway went on to become one of the top executives in the league, period.
Rooney.
And Jim Rooney has gone on to coach. And Jeff Cassar has gone on to be a big-time executive. So, Nelson Vargas is now coaching Miami FC. So, a lot of players from that team, if you go and look at the roster of that team, a lot of them have gone on to go into management and been highly successful.
Yep. Bless Mr. Hamilton, who is no longer with us. Rest in peace. But he and Hudson were they were the catalyst. They were the reason why we should have never really lost our team, because they were building something special here, man. It
was on the climb. I mean, that last season they averaged 11,500, which considering was not bad. When you see that,
it went from 7 that year. It went from 7 the year before.
They went up 4,000.
Yeah,
they went from 7 to 11,500 in a place that had no ambiance. And people were driving long distances from West Kendall to go up to watch those games. And I was a great team. I mean, they were good. They won the Supporters Shield. They made it to the semifinals. They were really, like I said,
the Western Conference. Remember?
Yeah, the Western. Yes, yeah. Yeah, those were the days. But no, they definitely were building something good, and it was a shame. It was a shame that they pulled the plug right when things were getting really fun. I mean, things were really getting fun. Like I said, the local media that never paid any attention to them all of a sudden was showing up after games to see what Ray was going to say. And they had a lot of exciting players. And it's too bad that it ended. And now here we are 20 years later, almost. We're going to be on the same piece of land. Yeah. In a nicer stadium, and we'll see what that team can do.
Yeah, we got good ownership this time around, so that's the positive. Follow her.
Absolutely.
Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. She is the best. She is Michelle Kaufman. Catch her work there at the Miami Herald website and at your doorstep, so you can keep up with everything Inter, and of course the University of Miami. She does a great job covering them too. And they got a nice little win the other day too, the basketball team.
They did. I'm actually writing today. I'm writing some advanced stories for the game Saturday. They play Duke, number 2 Duke on Saturday here at Miami. My daughter goes to Duke. She grew up a UM fan. She's a diehard Hurricane, but right now her heart is with the Duke basketball team. So she and my husband are going to the game. She's going to be wearing Duke. Dave is going to be wearing UM, and I will be neutral on press row.
Yes, you will.
And that's going to be a big game. But University of Miami has won 5 games in a row. I know everyone focuses only on the football team of that school, but the basketball teams, the men's and the women's team is ranked number 23 in the country. The men's team has won 5 games in a row. They had the overtime win against Clemson. Chris Likes, who's basically like 5'6", the smallest guy on the court in every game. He had 27 points. DJ Vasilovich is having a good season. Cam McGusty's having a really good year. Keith Stone, who's a transfer from the University of Florida, for the Gator fans out there. He's made a big impact since he came back from injury a few games ago. So, the UM basketball team is on a little bit of a run. They're going to have, obviously, their biggest challenge yet against Duke on Saturday. But that should be really exciting. It's on ESPN at 8 o'clock. And that's my 2 beats right now are UM basketball and the Inter Miami. So I'm going to be very busy very quickly.
Yeah, you won't say it, but I'll say it because it would be uncomfortable for you. But over the last 10 years, the better coaching has been on the basketball end, men and women, than football. So that's the way it's gone at the University of Miami.
Yeah, and it's a shame they do not get the support that they deserve. And I'm going to start with the students. I call them out. I'm a UM grad myself. I call them out pretty much every game on Twitter. Unless it's an ESPN game against Duke where they think they're going to get on TV, the UM students don't show up, and it's ridiculous because I've covered that team since, 1997, back when Leonard Hamilton was the coach, and the whole thing was, if they get an on-campus arena, they were playing it over there at the Miami Arena, and everybody said that when they get an on-campus arena, the place is going to fill up. Well, guess what? They have a beautiful on-campus arena. The students can literally roll out of bed. You could throw a pass from some of the dorms into the arena. That's how close it is. And they don't cross the parking lot to go for free to watch an ACC basketball team. It's really, it's embarrassing, honestly. As a UM alum, I don't know why the students don't go. It's entertaining. It's 2 hours. It's a fun team. The guys are good. The coach is a wonderful man. And Katie Meyer, too. She puts her heart and soul into that program.
Awesome.
They both do. Coach Al and Katie are fabulous coaches and pour their hearts and soul into that program. And it needs to start with the students need to get their butts over there and start supporting that program, because it affects recruiting. It affects everything. When a recruit goes to a UM game and then goes to a game in one of those other ACC cities, where do you think they're going to end up?
I know.
So,
I know.
Yeah,
It sucks.
It's Miami.
I know. I know. I'm with you. Michelle Kaufman, she's awesome. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. Michelle, as always, thank you. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next Wednesday, finally.
All right. Take care.
You got it.
All right. Bye-bye.
You got it. We get Michelle back on Wednesdays, finally, next week. There you go. So she's ready to go. And there you go. That is your Inter Miami report, which is a beautiful thing. Love Inter Miami.
Great point by you.
What was that?
The communication situation.
Wow.
Out the blocks.
That's it. I meant my quota for the year. I'm done. I made a good point on January 2nd. Now we're screwed for the rest of the year because I'm out, dude. I could come up with maybe one.
I would beg to differ, man. You do pretty good, brother.
You're too kind. You're too kind, my man. Too kind. Let me tell you about Choice Mortgage Bank, because Michael Codsey and the great people at Choice Mortgage Bank, man, let me tell you, we can still get you state rates right now under 3.5%. Hey, listen, if you're looking for a mortgage company right now, support the people that support our program and been supporting this show for 10 years. Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730. You're going to love Michael Codsey because he's going to fight for you. Okay, that's what it's all about. Get you the best deal out there so you and your family have more money at the end of the month to pay bills, go on vacation, more money for your kids' college fund. Call them right now, 561-441-2730. State rates under 3.5%. We're coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood. And by the way, we're in 2020, but today is the last day of 2019 for Toyota of Hollywood. Yes. So all the 2019 incentives, everything, last day. Take advantage right now. In fact, they've got the 2020 Corolla LE, $159 a month. You can lease it, drive away for $289, sign and drive. Plus tax. I'm telling you, get on down here to Toyota of Hollywood and take advantage. They've got some great deals, even 2019 models that are still here with the final incentives of 2019. You want to take advantage? This is the final day for 2019 at Toyota of Hollywood. My buddy David Ovalle from the Miami Herald does not have good news here for Mark Walton.
What happened now?
In March, a woman told police that her longtime boyfriend, after an argument, punched her repeatedly as they drove through Miami Gardens. When she escaped his Jaguar, he dragged her by the foot back to the car, punching her again and again, badly enough that it left her hips swollen and bleeding. That boyfriend was Mark Walton, the troubled NFL running back who was later signed by the Dolphins. But nearly 10 months later, Miami Gardens police detectives have yet to interview Jasmine Thompson about the incident. Her attorney told the Miami Herald a detective didn't even try to schedule time to speak to her until November, after Walton was cuffed in Davie for allegedly punching her in the face and head, an arrest that spurred the Dolphins to cut the running back. It says the Miami Gardens Police Department has kept an ongoing probe quiet. The Miami Dolphins said the team didn't know about the allegations when the team signed them in May. The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, which this past summer prosecuted Walton for 3 separate criminal cases, didn't know about the case until the Miami Herald inquired this week. And the police department has declined to release a report about the case, saying the case remains an active criminal investigation. The Miami Gardens Police Department this week did not return repeated requests for comments whether Thompson still wants to cooperate against Walton, who was awaiting trial in Broward County for a Davie case, remained unclear Thursday. The delay raises questions about the handling of the case by the Miami Gardens Police Department, to which Walton has ties. Walton's godfather and former Little League football coach Sean Horn is a Miami Gardens police officer. Walton, in his arrest in Davie in November, even listed Horn's home's address as his permanent address. Although the incident report remains secret, the Miami Gardens domestic violence allegations were detailed in a recently filed paternity lawsuit against Walton. His defense attorney, Michael Gottlieb, declined to comment Thursday on the March allegations, but as previously said, his client was innocent of the charges against him in Davie. Walton remains living in South Florida, hoping to get back into football, Gottlieb said. The 22-year-old is a former Miami star. Yeah, whatever. And then, let's see, his first in January was a minor marijuana possession charge. Then February 16th, Wilson snatched a phone from a neighbor at his Brickell condo building during an argument in a parking garage. He was charged with misdemeanor battery for the ensuing scuffle. Finally, Walton was charged with felony counts of carrying a concealed weapon, marijuana possession, and reckless driving stemming from a high-speed car chase that happened on the night of March 12th in North Miami-Dade during the arrest. Walton was shot with a police stun gun. In May, while the cases were pending in Miami-Dade court, the Dolphins signed Walton. I think people deserve a second chance, Brian Flores said. In recent years, critics have assailed that the NFL's handling of players accused of domestic violence, leading the league to put harsher disciplines. But when Miami signed Walton, the team did not know about the accusations that he beat up his girlfriend in Miami Gardens. Team spokesman said they were unaware of it on Tuesday. Keeps going on, and it talks. This guy, man, wow. This guy's turned into just an absolute lowlife.
You know what, that situation with his arrest up in Cleveland, remember we were like, what happened? Like, it went a little awry. And if you remember, I don't know who it was. Oh, you know what? It was Manny. Manny Navarro was the one that was telling us that while he was at UM, I think it was his high school coach was right there in his back pocket and kind of keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, and then once he was gone.
Obviously left to his own devices. Yep. This guy is a dirtbag.
Wow, man. Tell you. Mark Walton, dude. Wow.
You have such a promising future, career.
I mean, the good Lord blessed you with some talent, bro. Use it for good, man.
What is wrong with these people?
Why would you want to do any of that stuff? I just, to me, that's the kind of stuff that I just don't understand.
You know what? This is an idiot that goes skipping and hopping out of the jail. Remember that?
That's true,
actually. So there's the mentality.
Yeah, that's true, actually. The moron was skipping out of jail. I've never seen anybody skip out of jail. I mean, that is first-class loser material right there. My man is skipping out of jail.
Yeah, you all these things kind of like touch each other and make a nice little picture. We've got it now, everything with this guy.
Oh, man, that is too much. All right. If you want to get in on the program, you can always reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Tomorrow we'll be at Hialeah Park. And remember, if you want to be a part of the National Horse Players Championship, the qualifier is next Sunday. We're going to be there broadcasting live for a couple of hours over there on the 12th of Sunday, and they're going to award $10,000 to the winners. First place gets $5,000. So get on down there, and the grand prize winner will also get an NHC seat in Las Vegas for the competition at Bally's February 7th through the 9th. It includes hotel and airfare, and even the winner can choose to go to this year's competition in 2020 or the one in 2021 because maybe you already have some plans and you can't go, so you can make it a year ahead of time. That's how cool it is. So if you want to be a part of it, it's at Champion Simulcast Center. It is Sunday, January 12th. If you want to find out more, go to hialeahpark.com. You can find out more there at hialeahpark.com.
That'll be a week from, obviously, this Sunday. And right after we get off the air, it's a trek to Tampa to do the East-West Shrine.
That's right. We'll be out there for the week.
You know what? I'm about to, do your usual grind, this time.
Yes.
All the traveling and everything. And
yes.
It's
get ready, bro.
It's going to be a blast, man.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
It'll be a blast, but it'll be a lot of work.
Yes.
Like a lot of work. Like a lot, like nonstop. Like the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep, and then you're like, holy crap, and then you wake up again, and it's like, whoa, it's one of those.
It's like a ride that at one point you're just, okay, I've had enough of this ride.
Well, the twisted, you're with me, so
right.
It's like,
we're gonna squeeze in some fun.
No, always.
It's gonna happen, bro. That's
always.
We roll.
But I kind of enjoy the grind, so it's just like I'm.
You know what?
Because listen, I've been doing it for a long time, so I've had several producers go with me, and so, some of them haven't been able to hang. You know what I'm saying? So
well, you know that ain't going to be a problem, brother.
So some of them kind of wear out, especially on the third go around too. By the time we get to the combine, they're like, "Holy crap!" But and they're all, and most of my producers, except for Bill, have been half my age. Okay, and I wear them out, and they're half my age. They can't get up the next day after a long-ass day. It's like, oh, man, they're struggling, you know what I mean, with those kind of things. So, yeah, it's funny. It's because a lot of people, you look at our job, right, and, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we're doing radio and all that, and we're talking, and we got guests on, and we have a rant here, an interview there, and all, but there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to put all of this together, you know what I mean? And then people don't really know. Like I've had listeners walk up to me and say, "Man, it's got to be great to have your job. You just turn on the mic and you talk for a couple hours and then you're done." And it's like, yeah, no, it's not that simple, bro. Nobody's that talented that you didn't do anything and you just turned on the mic for a couple hours and then you're done. You did several hours of preparation before you got to this, So it's one of those things that it takes a lot of time to prepare for all of this. It's not really just the time that you're on the air. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, this isn't just walk over and flick on a switch. It ain't that.
And what we do here is harder than radio. Because in radio, you have the luxury of having multiple breaks, and in an hour, you're only really talking about 30, 33 minutes. No more than that. You got about 27 minutes that you're going to be off the air in an hour. So you're not really talking for an hour. I always laugh when I'm driving around and I'll listen to a show and you could tell the host is already struggling with something to say, and it's like, well, wait a minute, dude, you got a half hour of breaks. You don't even really need to talk for a half hour in an hour. It's really easy to do that. In our
first example, the first hour, there was no break.
So
you went on for
minutes.
55 minutes, man.
55 minutes, right. And that would never happen on regular radio because most guys probably can't talk for 55 straight minutes. It's kind of hard for them to kind of do that, and they need help. You know what I mean? A lot of guys can't even do what I do, by the way, kind of riding solo pretty much and doing a show. Not for 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, but a real 4 hours. Like
you're feeling alone over there? You're solo?
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
The mess with
you,
man.
You know what I mean. But it's just one of those deals, so it's kind of funny. But, hey, man, it's all good in the hood, and we'll have some fun on the road, and and the good thing for you guys is we're going to give you more content than we ever have on the road. It's going to be great. If you're a draftnik, you are going to love these trips in a big-time way. And let me tell you, subscribe to the YouTube page because we're going to have extra videos that we're going to be posting on our YouTube page at Big O Radio Show. So if you can, go to our YouTube page and subscribe, Big O Radio Show. Our website is bigoradioshow.com, by the way. You can also go there. All of our segments and hours and rants and interviews are all there, too. So you can listen to them there, and you can download it right on our website at Big O Radio Show. Many ways. Many ways. The Heat are back in action tonight, taking on the Raptors. The Heat at 24-9 after losing to Washington. They don't have a lot of stinkers, and that was one of them, and you're kind of entitled to it. They had a nice hard practice yesterday, so that should be refreshing for the Heat. They should be ready to go for the Raptors tonight at 7:30. Looking forward to that. The Panthers are also in action. The Panthers are weird, right? Because the Panthers are 5-2 in their last 7, or they're 2-2 in their last 4. And before these last 7 games, they were 3-7 in their last 10. My point is, I don't know what we're getting. I have no idea. They're not playing a great team tonight in the Senators, but again, it's a team that I can't count on. So inconsistent, man. It's really, really weird with the Panthers. And they're a spot behind the 8th spot right now in the playoffs with 45 points. Tampa is in the 8th spot with 46 points. So, yeah, they're only a point behind, but it's still – they're looking like the kind of team that's going to barely sneak into the playoffs and then get bounced out. You know, it's kind of what I told you yesterday with them. So it is what it is. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the show, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. On Twitter at Big O Show, and reach out there on Twitter and on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. And, of course, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can get in any questions and comments on the YouTube chat board, although I see that they're chatting mostly with each other on the YouTube chat board, not so much with me. Mace is saying, Big O, what running backs do you think will fit in Gailey's widespread offense? Etienne. Give me Etienne from Clemson. I'll take that guy. Okay? That'll fit perfect. He can run. He can catch. I'm doing – remember, we're going to see more of the spread Gailey here because that's what the direction the NFL is going in. So, yes, they will be run-oriented, but you're also going to see spread concepts here, too, in the process.
Yeah, in order for it to work, you need to have a running back that can do both, so it isn't like the Bears when they had Howard. When he was in the game, you knew, put 8 in the box, they're running the ball.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
You saw that the kid Dobson declared from Ohio State.
Yes.
Where do you think Etienne is going to go? Second round? He doesn't get out of the second round.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a second-round pick. He's too explosive, man.
Do you think we need, if we got a shot at him in second, you go get him?
Why not? I would.
You don't bolster up the offensive line?
Well, you could get another. You have 2 second-rounders.
Yeah, that's true.
You can get another. You're going to get another player.
Yeah.
You have 5 players. You got 7.
You grab him with, what is it, the number 7? We slide to 7, right?
It's 7 in the top 70 they have.
Okay. No, but I'm saying in the second round, we slide back to, is it the 6th spot or the 7th spot?
7th. 36.
If he's there, 2nd, 7th pick in the second round.
Yeah.
Grab
yeah, I have no problem with that.
Don't run the risk.
Yeah. I have no problem with that. For sure. It would make sense. I would love Etienne. That would be one that would be freaking awesome. What else do we have here? Flipside Fishing. Have you talked about today's QB yet? What does that mean, Flipside Fishing? I don't. You mean our NFL draft focus today?
I was going to say he's probably.
If that's what you're talking about, yeah, that's in another hour. That'll be at 2:00. Christian Capel from The Athletic in Washington. He covers the Huskies, and we will be talking Jacob Eason with him. If that's what you're talking about, Flipside Fishing, that'll be at 2:00. Our NFL draft focus. That'll be our guy today, Jacob Eason from Washington. Okay? So that is the direction we're going in, if that's what you're asking. He says yes. There you go. All right. So that'll be at 2:00. All right? Tomorrow we'll have what do we have tomorrow? We have Will Carroll tomorrow.
We got Andy. No,
yes.
No, we don't, because football is done.
No, we had Andy. We already had Andy on Tuesday. Right? Wasn't it
no,
Monday?
But that was basketball.
Monday.
We don't have him for football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No. Monday, we just have him for basketball. So we have Andy Barron's. And we have Will Carroll tomorrow, the injury expert.
The Dolphin president.
And we'll have a Dolphin president.
I think it's from the one from Charlotte from what I understand.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have a Charlotte Prez for the Dolphins tomorrow. We'll also have a handicapper. Normally, our Hialeah Park handicapping investment segment is on Thursdays, but we're pushing it to tomorrow on Friday. So we'll have that segment for you on Friday. And we may have another college football focus, too, that we're trying to set up for tomorrow on Friday.
Wait. 2:45 today, we have the
Tommy
guy
Rockers
that's hosting us in Vegas.
Yeah, we have Tommy Rockers also joining us then.
Fantastic.
Yes, he will join us today at 2:45. So that we'll talk a little bit about the draft party that we're going to have over there at Tommy Rockers. All right, if you want to get in also on the axsitandlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Let me tell you about Caneswear. Oh, man, we love talking about Caneswear. In fact, look, this shirt is from Caneswear. I got this shirt from Caneswear. It's not only Canes products, man. They've got Inter Miami. They've got all kinds of T-shirts. In fact, there's a gentleman walking around here with an Inter Miami shirt. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat. They've got Florida Panthers and even Miami Marlins. And they've got T-shirts like this, like the 305, that is so cool. Get on down to Caneswear at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. It's a couple blocks away from the Miami Dolphins training facility. Go see Brett and all the amazing people out there. Trust me, they will take care of you. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. They've got all the Caneswear stuff that you can handle. And when the jerseys come out for Inter Miami, they will have them there, too, in 2 different colors. And over 2,000 jerseys they've ordered. That's going to be your home. Caneswear Miami Fanwear. That's the spot where fans like me shop.